most Sharia-compliant exchange in the world today. So now I've done that. My boss, who is listening to the other side, knows that I've been talking. So this MOC is really very significant. It really marks a step in advancing the regional cooperation on carbon markets. It also signifies Malaysia's leadership role as the country prepares to take up the chairmanship of ASEAN for next year, 2025, through the development of the ASEAN Common Carbon Framework. To this end, we want to thank YB Nazmi, our minister, who has been really championing the ASEAN Common Carbon Framework. Today, the private sectors are very happy to come together among the ASEAN countries of Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Indonesia. In a pre-huddle this morning, Mr. Stanley was asking what about the other ASEAN country members. We informed that they have yet to have an associations, but later on, of course, we can bring them in. Now, this particular memorandum of collaboration is a 2-year collaboration. The key thing we want to achieve is to unlock potential by facilitating the regional carbon market players' effort to support the supply of high-quality carbon credits and also to enhance the demand signals within the ASEAN region. I think everyone knows that, globally, the carbon market has not been through the best of its times, but the COP29 sentiment is looking very positive with regards to the progress on the Article 6 discussion. And of course, we are also looking to foster greater interoperability among the ASEAN nations' carbon market, which we hope to improve our market liquidity and also pricing and discovery. And on this note, I would love to invite our minister, YB Nazmi, to kick off this particular session and invite him to give his opening keynote. Please join me to welcome him. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, very good morning, Your Excellency Mr. Ahmad Kamil Muhammad Riza, Ambassador of Malaysia to Azerbaijan, Your Excellency Mr. Stanley Loh, Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Sustainability and Environment of Singapore, Mr. Hun Chaiwat Kovavisaraj, Group CEO and President of Bangchak Corporation and founder of the Thailand Carbon Market Club, fellow ASEAN Carbon Market Signatory Parties and Representatives, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored and privileged to welcome all of you to the Malaysia Pavilion. We have a full house today, and we are gathered today in solidarity for a more sustainable world towards a global shift to sustainability. And I would like to extend my most sincere gratitude to our hosts here in Baku, Azerbaijan, for their warm hospitality over the past week. To the government agencies, partners, civil society, youth, local communities and delegates present here today, your commitment has been instrumental in advancing our journey towards a greener and more resilient Malaysia. On behalf of the nation, thank you for your passion and action. I would like to also congratulate my team at the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability, NRES, and Malaysian Green Technology and Climate Change Corporation, MGTC, for your exceptional work in realizing our Malaysia Pavilion here at Baku, marking yet another impactful participation for the country at the UN Climate Change Conference 2024, or what we call COP29. I would like to particularly acknowledge our negotiation team from various ministries and agencies. I had a discussion with them this morning, who have dedicated countless hours to attending meetings, often working late into the evening to represent Malaysia's interests on the global stage. I told them if they would like to travel or have a sightsee of Baku, they can do that on another date, because I'm sure that their schedule is full with negotiations. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme for our pavilion this year, Shift for Sustainability, Climate Action Now, highlights our proactive commitment to addressing climate change with urgency and ambition. And this focus underscores our dedication to advance impactful efforts in the face of pressing environmental challenges. We know that to achieve meaningful progress, actions speak louder than words. It requires collaboration, innovation, and a steadfast commitment to reshaping our society, economy, and environment for the better. Our goal here at COP29 is to establish a clear pathway for our commitments and actions, laying a foundation for impactful progress leading into the next decade. As a committed leader in climate action, we aim to position ourselves as a preferred destination for green investments and partnerships. Through our whole of nation approach and 7 core focus areas of sustainable transformation, we strive to foster active collaboration across sectors, multilateral industries, global counterparts, and communities to tackle our key climate action areas from a holistic perspective. At COP29, we will focus on several critical global initiatives within the broader UNFCCC framework, and this includes the new Collective Quantified Goal, NCQG, the operationalization of the Loss and Damage Fund, the implementation of Article 6 of the Paris Agreement on Carbon Market Mechanism, and advancing the global goal on adaptation. These priorities align with our overarching climate objectives, advocating for a balanced approach to climate finance, adaptation, and loss and damage mechanisms. Regional cooperation through ASEAN will also play a central role in our approach at COP29. We tend to forget that when we are together as one, as ASEAN, our population actually reaches 670 million people, which means we are bigger than the EU in terms of population. By 2030, it's estimated that we will be the 4th biggest economy in the world. And this is a potential that we should really unlock to achieve more. Ladies and gentlemen, over the years, we have made considerable progress in advancing our green agenda. We have achieved this through a strong trajectory of climate initiatives and environmental policies that prioritize environmental preservation, from renewable energy projects to conservation efforts. With the recent launch of the National Climate Change Policy 2.0, we are building on past achievements and deepening our understanding of climate change impacts on our economy, natural environment, and communities. This updated policy established a new framework to guide Malaysia's transition towards a low-carbon economy and to reaffirm our commitment to ambitious climate goals, including a decision that we made this year to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. And this policy unites our entire nation in this critical journey, from government ministries to the private sector, from think tanks to civil society. As an umbrella policy, it ties together all our climate initiatives, including the National Energy Transition Roadmap, NETR, and the new Industrial Master Plan 2030 and IMP 2030. Through key initiatives such as the National Climate Change Act, which we are hoping to complete next year, Nationally Determined Contributions Action Plan and Roadmap, Long-Term Low Emissions Development Strategies, and the National Adaptation Plan, this establishes a comprehensive pathway for governance, low carbon development, adaptation, climate financing, and partnerships to align our aspirations with decisive actions for a sustainable future. Ladies and gentlemen, as we assume the ASEAN chairmanship next year, we likewise take on the responsibility of setting a strong precedent for transboundary collaboration. ASEAN success is Malaysia's success, and vice versa. Our pavilion at COP29 serves as a testament to this leadership, showcasing our innovative approaches to sustainable development and hosting several ASEAN programs that highlight our collective efforts in addressing regional climate challenges. Collaboration positions Malaysia as a key player in climate action. Our objectives and outcomes at COP29 must be clear, measurable, and impactful. Our focus is on strengthening our climate commitments, securing climate finance, advancing a just transition, and promoting regional cooperation. We are also preparing to lead ASEAN in crafting a unified voice on climate action at COP30 in Belém, in Brazil. We will spearhead the ASEAN Joint Statement on Climate Change to ensure that our region's collective priorities are effectively communicated on the global stage. This statement will reflect our commitment to ambitious climate goals, regional cooperation, and the acceleration of sustainable development initiatives. By leading this effort, Malaysia aims to strengthen ASEAN's position in global climate discussions and drive meaningful progress in addressing the climate crisis. Initiated by the Working Group on Carbon Market, under the ASEAN Business Advisory Council of Malaysia, or ASEAN-BAC Malaysia, we have progressed in developing a comprehensive carbon framework. It is a catalyst for discourse regarding the ASEAN Common Carbon Framework that we will be effectively partnering and collaborating with the Malaysian Carbon Market Association, the ASEAN Alliance on Carbon Market, the Indonesia Carbon Trade Association, the Thailand Carbon Market Club, and the Singapore Sustainable Finance Association. This collaboration reflects our growing recognition of the urgency to address climate change and is part of the initiatives that Malaysia hopes to potentially operationalize as the ASEAN strategy for carbon neutrality when Malaysia takes over the chairmanship of ASEAN next year. Shortly after this, you will witness the Memorandum of Collaboration Exchange Ceremony, a crucial step in advancing carbon market growth within ASEAN, which will help us achieve a unified approach that allows us to build an integrated, efficient and credible carbon market, fostering regional cooperation and accelerating low carbon investments. We have seen in the recent COP16 that happened about 2 weeks ago in Cali in Colombia, the recognition was given by Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, not only on Brazil and Colombia, but also on Malaysia and Indonesia for successfully reducing deforestation by a great scale. And I think this is one of the things that we want to unlock, the potential for our natural carbon sinks to be part of the solution for climate change in the region. We also recognize that as a region, ASEAN is very much exposed to climate change because of our exposure to the sea. Countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Singapore, we are at the mercy of climate change. And if we do not manage to take action, then we will also be among the first regions to bear the brunt of climate change. Recognizing that our environmental challenges are interconnected, we are dedicated to strengthening cooperation within ASEAN. By sharing knowledge, expertise, and financial resources, we ensure that no nation is left behind in the transition towards a more sustainable future. Achieving success at COP29 is not an endpoint, but a foundation for continued progress at COP30 and beyond. The momentum we build now will shape our path forward in the global climate arena. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, Malaysia stands ready to further our commitment to climate action and sustainable development on both regional and global fronts. As we embrace the theme of Shift for Sustainability Climate Action Now, we are called upon to build a future where future generations inherit a nation that values and protects our natural resources. Our commitment is unwavering, and no matter the challenge, we are prepared to embrace the transformation necessary for a greener tomorrow. To our government agencies, partners, civil society, youth, local communities, and delegates, I extend my heartfelt gratitude. Thank you for your presence, your partnership, and your dedication. I am honored to walk this journey alongside you, confident that together we can turn climate action from ambition to reality. But if you will permit me, I have one more KPI for you. Not only am I not allowing you to go and have a sightseeing tour of Baku, but I hope that you all will spend a bit of time here in the Malaysia Pavilion, and I hope that you can bring one foreign friend over to visit as well, so that they can learn more about Malaysia and what we are doing for climate action. And at the same time, for the Malaysians as well, let's not just stay in our kampung, but we go out and look at the other pavilions and see what the other countries are doing, so that we can truly take this opportunity being in Baku to learn from one another. Once again, as we like to say in Malaysia, terima kasih, thank you. May this week be fruitful and filled with impactful discussions and collaborative efforts. May COP29 bring meaningful progress for Malaysia and inspire transformative action for the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, YB Nick Nazmi, for your encouraging words. And of course, thank you for being a very strong pillar of support for this ASEAN Common Carbon Framework. With regards to the KPI, yes, then I would like to actually recognize and introduce maybe very quickly those signatory bodies that are here today. First is Dr. Reynard Siu, who is the president for the Malaysia Carbon Market Association, followed by Natalia Ralaki, Deputy Chair for the Intra-ASEAN Affairs, representing the ASEAN Alliance on the Carbon Market. Then we have Kavita Menon from the director at the Singapore Sustainable Finance Association, followed by Kun Kloita Natailan, who is the senior EVP of Thailand Banchak Corporation. She's also the chair of the Thailand Carbon Market Club. And of course, last but not least is Yoshan Fasrid, head of the Indonesia Carbon Trade Association, representative office for Europe. Finally, our next speech, we would like to call upon, and definitely very honored that His Excellency Mr. Stanley Law is being with us today. I would like to invite him to say a few words on behalf of his ministry. Thank you.
YB Minister Nick Nazmi, very happy to see you here in Baku. And Group CEO and President of Banchak Corporation, Mr. Chaiwat Kovavasarak, the Ambassador of Malaysia to Azerbaijan, ASEAN colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I'm very, very pleased that the first ASEAN pavilion that I'm visiting here in Baku is Malaysia, which is our closest neighbor. Thank you for the invitation and warmest congratulations on the signing of the MOC of the ASEAN Common Carbon Framework. I'm very delighted to see so many friends from Malaysia and ASEAN here today. The rules for Article 6.4 of the Paris Agreement were adopted on the first day of this year's COP. This lays the foundation for a global carbon market, and we all know carbon markets play an important role in accelerating climate action. High quality carbon credits channel financing towards mitigation activities that otherwise would not have occurred. They provide the global community with a way to work together to address climate change. In this process, such activities also provide sustainable development opportunities and climate adaptation benefits to many local communities. Southeast Asia is poised to play a key role in carbon markets. Southeast Asia has a wealth of potential carbon credit projects ranging from forestry, conservation, and restoration to blue carbon removal. In fact, the world's first transfer of carbon credits aligned with Article 6 of the Paris Agreement came from Thailand in partnership with Switzerland earlier this year. An interoperable and internationally credible carbon market in Southeast Asia that is consistent with Article 6 of the Paris Agreement holds significant decarbonization and economic benefits for our region. Hence, it is encouraging to see the private sector leaning forward and working together to develop an industry-led ASEAN Common Carbon Framework. Such initiatives have the potential to reduce market fragmentation and boost confidence in carbon markets. And we all know carbon markets have not been developing as quickly as we would all like to see it, and such efforts really will help make a difference. Singapore is committed to unlocking the region's potential for carbon credits in 3 areas. First, catalyzing demand. Singapore has introduced its International Carbon Credit Framework, allowing carbon tax liable companies in Singapore to use eligible carbon credits to offset 5% of their taxable emissions from this year onwards. This means that there's a certain base load of demand because companies have to buy the credits. We have published eligibility criteria for the carbon credits, requiring them to comply with Article 6 of the Paris Agreement and meet 7 internationally recognized principles of environmental integrity. And so my ministry, we are the carbon regulator in Singapore, and we publish the list of what can be used for this offset. Second, enabling project origination. One of the bottlenecks faced by project developers and investors is the lack of early stage financing. Hence, at COP last week, the Economic Development Board of Singapore launched a carbon project development grant to address this gap. Eligible developers will receive support for activities associated with origination and undertaking feasibility studies for carbon credit projects, which will spur project development, including those in this region. Third, piloting innovative carbon credit concepts. Singapore Central Bank, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, is piloting the concept of transition credits, which are generated from emissions reductions when coal plants are retired earlier than planned. And we all know the role played by coal plants. We can't replace them immediately, so we would like to help them transition. And when they retire earlier than planned and replaced with cleaner energy sources. This will support the energy transition in Asia, where 1/3 of its energy needs today are met still by coal. MAS has convened more than 30 ecosystem players to form the Transition Credits Coalition, or what we call Traction for short. Traction will be developing frameworks that can be applied across different markets in the next phase of its work. We are also complementing these initiatives with blended finance, which MC talked about earlier, to support the carbon and energy transition in Asia. The transition will require massive amounts of investments, and government funding alone will not be sufficient. Last year, MAS launched what we call the Financing Asia P, a blended finance platform to mobilize public, private, and philanthropic capital for green and transition projects in Asia. This year, at the opening of the Singapore Pavilion, we had pledged to contribute up to $500 million in matching funds to crowd in concessional capital from other sources. We hope that this initial pool of $1 billion in concessionary capital will be used to improve bankability of green and transition projects in Asia. These are complementarities between government-led initiatives and industry-led initiatives, such as the ACCF that we are seeing today. Together, they help build up confidence in carbon markets and enable them to scale successfully. Singapore looks forward to studying the deliberations and proposals of the ACCF, which after today's launch, I hear the partners will be working very hard at, and we discussed just now in the room, we're all looking forward to that KPI next year. I wish the framework every success and look forward to working with Malaysia under its chairmanship and leadership of the ASEAN in 2025 to advance cooperation in environmental sustainability and climate resilience for the benefit of our regions and all our peoples. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Excellency Mr. Stanley Loh. If you could kindly remain on stage, and this is where we invite YB Nick Nazmi and also the 5 signatory parties to come on the stage to do a first photo op. So this will be the first photo opportunities. If we could have the Malaysia Carbon Market Association, from the ASEAN Alliance on Carbon Markets, the Singapore Sustainable Finance Association, from the Thailand Carbon Market Club, as well as from the IDCTA. Thank you. This would be the first round of the photo opportunity. First, with the Minister of NRES, as well as with His Excellency Mr. Stanley Loh. Thank you. We will have 4 sets of these photo opportunities. And everyone, please kindly look in front. There is this central photographer, the official photographer. Thank you. So we will have one more. Okay, well, let's do one more. One for the video, yes. Are we right? Are we okay to move to the second set? So the second set, we'd like to call upon the Ambassador of Malaysia to Azerbaijan, as well as Kun Chaiwat, who is the Group CEO and President of Banchak Corporation, to stand on the platform, please. And this is for the second photo op. Brilliant. So we will do Are we okay to move on to the third? Okay, one more, right, one more. Okay, so we can move on to the third set. So the third set would be when we call upon the association members. This will be a huge group photo. Those association members, including myself, so I get an opportunity to be in a photo. Please step up onto the stage, please. Thank you. So all members, Kaisin, Frederick, yes. Yes, only the association members. Please come to the stage, please. This is a huge group for family photo. Are all the members here? Okay, I better stop scrolling. Great. So we have a final photo, which is just the 5 working members. So this is where those KPIs would have to be delivered by within 2 years. So let's call upon the 5 signatory parties to be there, so we know who the KPI holders are. So Bursa Malaysia will be hosting our Carbon Market Forum around mid of October next year in conjunction with the iGEM. So this is where these 5 signatory bodies will come up on stage, also to share on a plenary session on how the first year would have been. So we have one official photographer in front. Yes, everyone have a look at the official photographer in front. Thank you. So thank you so much. We have now, oh, sorry, one more. Oh, one more with the open folder. Sorry, one more with the open folder. Thank you. So our MOC exchange has come to an end and we adjourn, but we will be back here in 10 minutes time because there will be the first panel discussion whereby all the signatory parties will be on the stage here to talk about their aspirations for the ASEAN Common Carbon Framework. On this note, thank you very much for your attendance and we look forward to see you in 10 minutes time. Thank you.
Will bring all countries together to fight for climate agendas for our ASEAN region.
So in the last 5 years, the Health Community at CUP has just like skyrocketed because physicians and healthcare professionals are seeing more and more patients end up under their care because of diseases that are often driven by climate change.
Malaysia is a great leader and it's really committed to sustainable development. And I'm extremely excited that it has the presidency of ASEAN in the coming year. I think ASEAN can make some very strong advances in the energy transformation, in the biodiversity conservation, in the economic development.
COP39 met a significant milestone for our industry because it offers a global platform to showcase our commitment to sustainable palm oil production.
The conservation of biodiversity initiative is important because we want to produce the palm oil, but at the same time, we want to protect the biodiversity that we have in Malaysia.
We are part of the global community, and the oil palm industry as well is part of that global community to feed the world. So it's very important that we are here to put our message across.
Collaboration is definitely one key part of supporting climate agenda. Without collaboration, no one can work alone, especially, in addressing climate change.
We just have a panel on that, right? Which I think is fantastic. First of all, again, we are all together that just transition cannot be an afterthought. It's not that we do the things that way we think how we're going to make it just. That has to be embedded in the project design. It has to be embedded in the problem, right? That is people-centric.
One of the biggest initiatives is actually to implement or to champion or even to spearhead the initiative to develop the ASEAN Power Grid by 2035. So with these efforts, the APG can actually help Malaysia accelerate the penetration of RE to Malaysia so that we can meet their aspiration by 2050.
For example, in Malaysia, we could actually borrow strength with our understanding of what is good. We can actually borrow strength from what is happening globally, bring best practices to help move things in Malaysia.
The Silicon Valley Institute of Climate Change basically is an organization, it's a non-profit organization that looks at some of the issues that are faced by especially the Muslim world in terms of climate change, and what are the creative technology solutions that we can present in a collaborative manner so that the Muslim countries, they can work together on climate change.
I believe that the role of youth is really very important because they are the ones who are actually experiencing the impacts of the climate change at the very first hand. So unless and until they will not be involved in the policy making by the stakeholders, we will not be able to address the first-hand impacts of the climate change.
Malaysia Pavilion.
We are all excited to have this conference whereby not only the negotiation will be conducted, also the trade discussion between Malaysian businesses and the rest of the global businesses could convene and be discussing on how to ensure that Malaysia target by 2050 net zero nation will be realized.
The Malaysian pavilion is very beautiful. Oh my gosh, I so like. And it's an important pavilion because we have indigenous people and very discussion, very important about climate change and about climate crisis.
First off, I thought it was interesting their climate goals specifically, also their infrastructure. They said that they were aiming to sell 50% of only electric cars, and I thought that was really interesting. And I thought America should take up on that goal as well.
Malaysia welcome you to the Malaysian Pavilion at COP29, Baku, Azerbaijan. Now we are at Lot E11.
Come to Malaysia Pavilion.
Come to Malaysia.